Welcome to the Nerds Against Normality podcast. I'm Stacey Bowles and I'm the first one caught out on musical statues. I'm here with Harry Bowles.
That's my surname.
Right, again, the diagram is on the TV. Please.
And he's still here.
Great pun.
And Ben Sheridan. He's never left.
He actually hasn't left since the last time we recorded.
Absolutely, because your house is so big, you've got all these weird little passageways and little nooks.
I sent the butler to get you. I don't know what more you want.
I don't know where he is.
This week, we're going to start by referencing our previous episode where Ben told us a lovely story about his mum's wedding.
Sounds sinister.
How he did karaoke and how we tricked Ben's mum into giving us the karaoke clips.
Did you trick her? Did she willingly hand it over?
She willingly
hands it over. Please don't defend this.
So after the episode, we decided to play Ben's reaction straight to his mum. Harry, please play the clip from your phone.
This is Mrs. Sheridan coming in hot. I thought I'd just let you know, we just played the recordings to Ben, and this is what he has to say.
You traitorous old bitch.
Thank you so much for the clips.
Thanks, Mum.
It was gold. Thank you very much.
In the heat of the moment, it probably wasn't the best response.
And now, thanks to that response, Ben is homeless, and just to prove it...
Ben, I've packed your bags. They're in black plastic sacks outside the door.
How's it been since, Ben?
Cold.
So cold. Found out you cannot stay in self-storage units.
It's frowned upon.
Yeah, no matter how much you break in. So, yeah.
Have you spoken to her since?
No, she's cut off all contact with me. And, you know, I can't blame her. She's a lovely woman.
She didn't deserve that.
Doesn't deserve it, no. Sorry, Bob.
Okay. We'll move on very rapidly then. Since our last episode, Harry has also appeared on TV.
With my mum.
Jeremy Kyle.
But not the channel you think.
He's left me for...
Yeah, it's making these recording sessions very awkward.
Yeah, went on to KMTV to do the Kent Film Club.
Yeah.
That was very good. With Chris Dacey, I want to say is how you pronounce his name. I apologise if that's wrong, Chris. But yeah, it was good. I was very nervous. And obviously in the last episode I talked about the 4 films I picked. To recap, it was Shaun of the Dead, Jaws, Terminator 2 and Dragon Ball Z. And that's all happened. We've watched it. Your family watched it. Mm-hmm. I wanted to die.
I had a watch party. I rented out the hop farm and did a driving thing.
Nice.
Was your mum there?
She
was with me.
Mom, how could you? Just got married. Martin, I just want you to know, I think Mum's having an affair. Yeah, with Harry. Yeah, he is awesome.
Yeah, but it was very good. It's a good experience. I would recommend it to anyone. When you watch the interview, I think I start off a little bit nervous, and by the end, when I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z, which is my comfort zone, I very much lead that because he has no idea what he's like. Is it Dragon Ball Z? Z?
Oh yeah, you punched him.
Yeah. I can imagine his face.
Of course, yeah. I didn't think he could do it, but I wasn't going to find out.
And then I got invited back to his podcast called Nostalgia because he found out that I, buy and sell retro video games. And he was like, well, actually, funny you should mention nostalgia being a big factor in your sales, that you should come on my podcast and we'll talk about old stuff. And I was like, terrific. I love old stuff because
nice.
I am old stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also got invited.
Give me that old stuff, baby, this evening.
Thank you. I'll have to slot you in around Ben's mum.
Mum, again, how could you?
She doesn't listen to this, right?
She does now.
God, I hope not. I won't be getting any free treats at the cafe now.
What I noticed from Harry's his biggest critic, as always, and everyone messaged saying what a great job we did on the TV episode.
Because everyone else tries to be nice.
I did not.
But
Ben actually, he left a 45-minute voice note.
Yeah. I started my own podcast.
Yeah. But there was a moment where I was in absolute hysterics. I think it was Jaws. Was it Jaws you were talking about?
I brought it up in Shaun of the Dead and then again in Jaws. And also I brought it up on Women of the Hour pod. What
we've established is when Harry gets to... He's straight talking, he's straight to the point. So when he thinks that he's finished everything he's got to say, he's just like, well, that's it. What else do you want from me?
Yeah.
Fair.
Done. Bosh.
What's the point of just fucking faffing, isn't it?
That's why Stacey hosts the podcast. If Harry did it, it'd be over in 2 minutes. This would be the easiest podcast you've ever done.
It's shit, don't bother.
Yeah.
It's awesome, watch it.
Email us. It's us, me and Stacey, like, okay, no, fine.
No.
Chris is super knowledgeable. Right? He honestly is a guru. He doesn't know the films that you're picking, and he just kind of hopes that he's general knowledge. So since I've done the interview, I follow him on Facebook, and man, he sees so many films, like everything. You know, he watches anything, if it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's a small release, big release, whatever. He'll go to cinema, any excuse to watch it.
He should really take over this podcast.
He should, yeah.
Also, I know I keep talking about last week's episode, so if you haven't listened to it, please go back and do so. But we asked you a bunch of questions because it was your birthday. And as always, we had a couple of questions that missed the window. So I'm just going to ask, what cancelled video game grinds your gears the most?
What cancelled video game? The fact that Pokemon got cancelled in Australia grinds my gears because of PETA. They kicked up, because of animal rights.
What
real.
Pokemon game?
It was years ago. It's not banned now.
No.
They
I was gonna say,
got
surely
turned over.
not.
After it made millions.
Yeah, they were like, turns out we could actually tax the shit out of this and get a lot of money. That and Manhunt, everyone got a bit, ooh, because you can kill someone with a carrier bag. Jesus Christ, get over it.
Yeah.
That grinds my gears. I'm going to rant here. Is that
Great.
fucking parents, they try and blame their delinquent children on violent video games. It's like, no.
Yeah.
That's not the same with films. Yeah. It's just such a scapegoat to go, he played GTA. Yeah, so did 40 other million fucking kids. They didn't go out on fucking rampages, did they?
Exactly.
To be fair, you don't see many people on Crime Watch going around killing people with plastic bags.
Yeah, because they're expensive now.
Reusable though.
The true crime is how much they fucking cost.
Exactly. Over it's 10p. That's why you
That's
might
for a
as well...
shit one.
The next set of questions are kind of quick fire questions. If you were a fruit pastel, what flavour would you be and why?
Red one is the best.
Bland.
Okay. Give 3 reasons why Tears of the Kingdom is worse than Breath of the Wild.
1, it's not. 2, it's not. 3, it's not.
Okay. Who would win, Mewtwo or Goku?
Goku.
Who's the most underrated character in Avatar: The Last Airbender?
The brother.
Sakura.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
I did.
Do they know it's Christmas time at all?
No.
If you could cast X-Men now, who would play Rogue?
Oh, shit.
Sydney Sweeney.
Lucy Pinder.
Who's Lucy Pinder?
Google it.
Yes!
Who will win a Premier League sooner, Aston Villa or Nottingham Forest?
Neither. Both teams are irrelevant nowadays.
Yeah.
And last question, when is your Christmas tree going up?
If you have anything to do about it, December 1st.
Absolutely.
But now we have a little doggo. Hopefully we just won't put one up.
Yeah. They're up in the West Wing in the house already.
Yeah, she's
No,
not
they're just getting
allowed
down in
anymore.
preparation
Oh, fair enough.
for the main
then.
halls.
Okay.
Okay, so that's been your week. Ben, what you been up to?
Work is work, sadly, can't talk about it. At one point...
But you are not working on the same project.
No, I'm working on a new project by Guy Ritchie.
Oh yeah, how's that
You on
going?
Yes, it's a new TV show called Fixer. It's probably, I'm assuming it's been announced. Yeah, Tom Hardy's in it and very like gritty London warring gangs, and it's very Guy Ritchie.
Did you say hi from me?
No, because he never comes out as a trailer.
Did you know?
No. Wait, Guy Ritchie or Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy.
Haven't met him yet. Haven't been on the scenes he's been in.
But Guy Ritchie doesn't come out as trailer.
No, I saw him once, very briefly.
I'd like to ask a question. A question for someone that actually works in the industry here.
Don't know.
And this grinds my fucking gears as well, right? Why do actors feel like they have the fucking right, and directors, to just sit in their trailer and be a petulant child? It makes no sense, right? For you to become a top level actor, right? As a child, you must love film. You must have that aspiration. I'm going to be an actor. I can't wait to be an actor. Then you study it. You go through drama at school. You then go to university. Do all this studying in the world, right? You then have to somehow miraculously jump through all of these hoops and become 1%, part of the 1% that make it to the big time when you get these huge movie checks. And what do you do with that? What's the word I'm looking for? Are you gracious for it? Do you have any gratitude to show for it? No. You turn into Vin Diesel and sit in your fucking truck being a prick about it, wasting everyone's time. Why do they do that? Why do they feel? Is it a power play? Is it, small dick energy? What's going on?
Harry, could you get your foot off Ben's neck, please?
Thanks, Harry. Well,
I don't understand.
Well, it means I'm not working on Fast and Furious anymore.
Even he by the fucking sound of it.
That's a good question, isn't it?
He's too furious.
It kind of. Not fast enough.
Not fast enough.
I've only got time for one fast thing in my life, and Sonic already has it. Mr. Diesel. It's a really good question, to be fair.
I just don't understand.
I've worked with a few people who I won't say on the podcast
that's fair.
Who have been like that.
But who is it?
I'll tell you after.
Link in the description.
Ben the whistleblower. God, there could have been any Ben Sheridan.
To compare it, right, I think you have to be, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of skill involved, but there's also an element of luck.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, great.
Same with being like a top level athlete. But could you imagine being like a football player or rugby player and you've hit the absolute pinnacle and you're like, no, I'm not going to play today?
Yeah.
It'd be like, well, what's the fucking point? Why have you got here if you're not going to show off what you've got?
I have waited around on set for hours before. I've gone at 7 a.m. and I have waited till actors step onto the set at like 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon.
And this isn't makeup. This is just them
being
stubborn.
And this is also them also just late all the time. They will rock up when they want to.
God, that explains why you were always...
Because I want to turn up when I want to. I'm just sort of transferring all my aggression over to the podcast.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
It's a bit like rockstar behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't really get it either. I would love to see it change in this industry because it's getting ridiculous. I really think at some point, this might be a whole other podcast thing in itself, but at some point, I really think we need to start sort of remembering that actors are employees.
They are. They are not above the film.
No. And it's as horrible as it is. Like, I understand a lot of them think they know what their star power is, and some of them do have that box office draw, and you get them on the project because they help finance it, but also...
The movie industry is a volatile game, though.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. 5 years ago, that guy touched anything. It was making 700 million, whatever, minimum. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have box office draw, but he's not the same.
No.
Jack Black's another one. It's only taken a little bit of controversy around him, and he seems to have lost that pull.
But then some people are like that. Some people have that when they're absolutely in their prime, their golden era. But then when they lose that, they don't lose the ego that's come around it.
I think they're above it.
Yeah, I've met one person who it was interesting to watch her, but she was I won't say her name again because she's, for the most part for me, she was actually quite lovely, but she was the epitome of like old school Hollywood. And because she came from that era. She's in a very famous sci-fi film. Yeah, it's a strange one. But anyway, yeah. But apart from that, for the most part, most of the actors on Fixer at the moment are really nice. I don't work with them very much. I work in crowd, but when I've had to interact with them, they are fairly good people.
And when you're this early in development, do you find that you don't have that much interaction with the bigger actors?
Yeah.
Do they come in later?
Yeah, I think the only time I really have to interact with them is if they are on the floor, which does...
As in like laying down?
Absolutely. Mr. Hardy, lay on the floor for me, please.
It's dirty.
You're being paid so much. And then he stands up like, actually, you are quite a big guy. You're going to bane me.
Very much like to
Front
see
and
that.
back. Picks me up and does the same again. Yeah, usually unless I have to cue people around them, or you just, sometimes you can tell who an AD is, so they just sometimes ask you to get things for them, which is fine. But yeah, that's work. We watched, Harry and I, in terms of like a little mini review, we watched Heretic, which is a brand new horror film out by A24. But it's about two Mormon girls who go to preach to a guy about Mormonism. He invites them in, and then it becomes quite a deadly twist, quite a deadly game for them.
And it's Hugh Grant, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say,
Long gone are the days where it was a bumbling gentleman.
Yeah, but
he's a horror. It's creepy.
But he uses the same tricks. It's so like this. Right, this is his best role. Like, this is Hugh Grant's best role I've ever seen him do.
Wow.
I actually think he's done far better being an older actor than he has from like the Notting Hill sort of Bridget Jones days, because he was very much the rom-com guy, wasn't he?
He's typecast as well. He played that character.
Yeah,
in everything,
and he played it well.
I've never seen 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
No, but he. No. But he uses those same sort of like quirks of like like a bit bumbly over his words. Like, oh, well, if you wouldn't, and he uses the smile he's got, and he's got these like he always pushes his glasses up and stuff. But he, in a different context, which is this film, it comes across as really creepy, like really frightening. I would really recommend it. And Any thoughts, Mr. Haddon?
Do you know what? Not that it's a negative, but I would say the trailer kind of portrayed it as a horror. And if you're going into the film expecting a horror, you're going to be disappointed. It's not that. It is a very good thriller, though. It's very suspenseful, which is weird. It's almost like Tarantino-esque. The film just relies on conversation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the film is just three people in a room just talking about religion. And that is like the opening 40 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
Now, I might have sold that as that sounds really boring, but he's so like charismatic with it, and how he sells it, I think it just works so good.
I learnt a lot about Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the harsh realities of that.
Which,
What is the game called? What is the first game called?
the Landlord's game.
Landlords, yeah.
Yeah.
Where nobody wins.
Because
But a bit like religion.
I overheard someone saying that they went to see this film, but they didn't enjoy it, and I wonder whether that's because it was marketed as a horror.
Maybe.
I think so. I would say for anyone who's watching, anyone who listens to us, if you do see a trailer for a horror film and it's got A24 at the start of it, it will usually be much more like quite talky and quite meditative and sort of talking about like quite big themes. Like it won't really be a horror in terms of
There's
your
not many
generic
jump
horror.
scares, is there?
No, there's
a couple.
There's two. There's
Yeah.
two like ones I was like, oh, okay, out of
got me.
nowhere.
Yeah.
But I would say it's far more just unsettling
Yeah.
and creepy. And it's got some, just great performances. I think it's, at the moment, it's like really gunning for a film I really, really enjoyed this year. Might be my favourite horror.
Yeah, ooh, Smile 2.
Oh, yeah. I've got to toss that. I've got to toss up between those two.
But it was, regardless, I thought it was I really enjoyed it.
Do you think you enjoyed it more so because now Ben and I have knitted your scarf?
It's not that artsy.
No. But yeah, that was Heretic. I highly recommend it. I also watched another horror film, which I wish I hadn't. I watched Hellboy, the Crooked Man.
Oh my god, I so badly want to see it.
The Crooked Man?
Yeah, so this is the new Hellboy that's come out.
Okay.
And it was touted as being a lot more low budget, a lot more like horror based, very much like sort of more akin to the comics.
Right.
Oh, mate, honestly, I would rather go and...
Is it so bad it's good?
No.
It's just so bad
As in
it's bad.
Hellboy, the red...
Yeah. So Hellboy, it comes from the... Obviously, they weren't going off the other three films
Okay.
that have come out, which I don't mind. I mean, I quite like the 2019 one as well.
I still haven't seen that.
I
never-
love the Ron Perlman ones.
That's the thing. Keep that in your memory and have that as a nice little thing.
Okay.
There's a good reminder of what Hellboy is, because this is not it. Like,
I know
it's,
we're watching on Saturday.
oh shit! It's very much like, it reminds me of a fan film.
It has that sort of budget. Is that how it
But
looks?
this is the thing. It's like a fan film that had all the budget to do what it needed to do, but didn't think about the story. Practical effects are quite good, and the actual kind of folk horror stuff around it is pretty decent, but it's like there are literally sequences that go, and then they fade to black, and then the next sequence starts, and you're like, they're so disjointed.
What film's better? Fantastic Four remake, Fantastic,
mate.
or this? Because they both sound terrible. We've watched Fantastic Four,
Yeah, we have.
and we both loved it.
Did you not love it?
He was very angry when we watched
So
it.
angry when I saw it. It's one of the angriest I've ever been.
Yeah.
I've got a pacemaker now because of that film, which
thought-
annoyingly beats at 4 beats a minute.
I thought it was one of your favourite films.
Shut up, Stage. I would choose Hellboy.
As in that's better.
Between Fantastic Four, Fantastic
Okay,
and
so
Hellboy, I would choose Hellboy.
On the barometer?
Because at least it's over quick.
Okay.
Yeah, Hellboy the Crooked Man cannot recommend. I think if you're a fan, if you're like a really hardcore fan of the comics, you might get some entertainment out of it, but yeah, just disjointed. Feels like a fan film that had all the money given to it. Most of the performances are just soulless. There's nothing really inspiring about it. It's just nothing.
Not Ben approved.
No, sorry. This is staying very crooked. I'm not as good at these as you are. Oh wait, no, I've got one.
You got one.
Hellboy Crooked Man should have stayed there. In hell.
Oh,
Fuck! No!
Take 3.
Come on, help me out.
Hellboy Crooked Man can get bent.
That's what's going.
All right, Bart Simpson.
Hellboy the Crooked Man on a slant. My final thing, and I'll try and make it as quick as I can. I have a game recommendation that I played because it's on the sale on PlayStation Store, which I think Stacey would really like. Stacey, you're a big detective person, aren't you?
Yes, Ben.
Like
I
you-
solve crimes in my spare time.
Yeah, poorly as well. Jesus.
4 murderers have got away from you.
2 linked to plastic bags, reused.
Yeah, that's what they don't get you. One of them was one of those wine bottle ones that's got all the compartments, makes it really difficult. And it's burlap. Really breathable. Famously so. No, so you've played a lot of the Sherlock Holmes games.
Yes, I love them.
Yeah, so you do like detective sort of.
Yes.
So I played a game called Shadows of Doubt.
Right.
Which is, it's on the PlayStation and on Steam. I think it's on Xbox as well. But you play as a detective in a sci-fi world, like a cyberpunk Blade Runner world.
Ooh.
But it's all condensed to 1 or 2 like city blocks.
Okay.
Like Yakuza. You've played Yakuza, haven't you?
Yeah, I love Yakuza.
Yeah, so like,
and Judgment. It's like Judgment.
Oh,
yeah, so like, you know how Yakuza and Judgment is like, it's free roaming, but it's like 2 city blocks, but they're very densely packed.
Yes.
It's like that.
Okay, I'm interested.
But the great thing I really love about it is that it's procedurally generated. Mm-hmm. So all the buildings and stuff are procedurally generated. You can go inside any of the buildings, go inside any of the rooms.
Okay.
And all the crimes are procedurally generated as well. And by that I mean they're random.
Was it quick to play?
I started up the tutorial case, which is only meant to be the tutorial case, took me 5 hours.
Oh my God.
But that is because I messed up and the lead went cold.
Oh.
So I didn't get to this CCTV footage.
Oh my God, this sounds exactly like the sort of game I like.
Yeah, so like I couldn't get to. I literally walked into a room which was like, "Oh, help me find this woman in this flat." I was like, "Okay, great." You knock on the door, like, and bear in mind, like, it's so in depth. Like, I knocked on the door, there's no answer. I was like, "Shit! All right, how do I get into this place? Can't get through because I'm on the 9th floor. Maybe I know this would never work. Is there a key under that? There's a key under the mat." I was like,
nice.
Holy shit, okay, great, she's dead, so then you got to be like, okay.
Classic.
I was like, I'm out.
Put that key back.
After I threw up over the corpse.
Is that because you took too long to get in the door?
Yeah, I passed
She
out.
knocked, and she took so long she just died, like Yoda.
So you scan for fingerprints, you try and figure out how she died. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
But then I was like, so then I went through her trash. She's got a receipt.
Rude.
Yeah, well, you can also like nick things. So I took like.
Please send us money for this podcast so Ben doesn't have to rifle through trash.
That's really bad. The dead woman's in the living room. Her safe's in the bedroom, and I managed to crack the safe. And I was like, "Oh, there is actually a bit of money in." Well, she's not going to miss it. So I pocketed that.
Can't take it with you.
Nope. And I did. So it was like, "Oh, can you meet me in this?" It was like a receipt from a restaurant. I was like, "Oh, hold on." Someone was asking her to meet her at this restaurant at this time. Walked in, bribed someone to show me the CCTV footage, identified her with another person. That guy turns up dead, and the police are then after them. And they're after me as well because I'm a freelancer, so they think I did it. And bear in mind, this is random. So I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You sound really upset by this.
I was pissed off. Because I literally, like, they walked into the room, and I'm there, like, teabagging the corpse. I'm there, like, teabagging the corpse going, this is... I can understand how this looks, officer. But then, yeah, because I waited too long, I found the one thing I needed to identify the killer. The CCTV footage had been wiped. So the lead went cold for so long, and then I literally had a brainwave, because you can actually put things up on a corkboard, and I had a brainwave going, holy shit, I've got his initials. When I looked through the city directory, found his address, called the number, he was still in the flat.
From the Yellow Pages.
Pretty much, they're blue in this, but fair enough.
Well, maybe we could try and play that.
I think you would enjoy it, because I know you like the detective games. It's a bit clunky. It's a bit stuttery and a bit kind of like it's a bit glitchy, but I've not had anything that's broken the game yet. I also quite like the blocky aesthetic of it. It's a bit like if Minecraft it's like if it was made in Minecraft, but it's like a bit better.
Well, we really enjoyed Judgment playing that together, which is kind of part Yakuza, part detective-y, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except for a fun,
cheesiness.
Yeah, a fun interlude where he dresses up like a vampire for no reason.
I need to play this game.
And he stays in that character in like serious cutscenes. There's like in the second one, this is very serious, right? A kid kills himself because he's bullied so much, and you're just there in this Dracula being like, so.
No, to be fair.
Read the room, mate.
To be fair, that's because you can choose what you look like, and we just sort of.
And this is why I love in-game engine like rendering.
But you can do anything.
I actually love it. The amount of times I had to like look after my daughter in Dead Rising 2, and she's like on the bed, and I'm like, oh, just another thing to keep the zombie injection away. And they're like, you're a really good father. And it would cut to me in my Mega Man outfit, going, yes, I am a great father.
I knew it.
It's just so serious, like, my good.
Amazing.
But yeah, Shadows of Doubt, would highly recommend it. What have you been up to, Stace?
I finished watching a new series on Netflix called Monsters, which I know you will love, Ben, because it's about a true life
Oh, this is that bloody
crime
Oh god.
series.
Murder. Change the fucking record.
It's about Lyle and Eric Menendez. It's on the most watched series, or was at the time,
I'm not
on
surprised.
Netflix. And it's about two brothers who killed their parents. And it's kind of about whether they were justified in doing it because they suffered really horrific sexual abuse from their father, or, well, both of them, or whether they made it up.
Does the Netflix
Your
show?
topics are
And a
always so
sociopath.
light-hearted.
I know, yeah.
God. I've just been talking about teabagging a corpse.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's really good. It was really horrific in places, as you can imagine. But sometimes in shows like that, they gloss over some of that detail. They did not shy away from any of that in
Is this the
this
same?
series.
Sorry to interrupt. Is this the same company that gave you Dharma?
I'm not
Because
sure.
that sounds familiar. Monsters or Monster.
I'm not
It's
sure.
relatively new, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, a month, maybe. So, all right, big question is, do you think they should be freed?
I really don't know enough to give my opinion on it. I think the series was trying to portray the version that they were justified in doing it. And there are some things in it, like one of the brothers is bald because his hair fell out because he was under so much stress and he wears a wig. Like, there are things that factually make sense, but I don't know enough without going into the true life story to make up my mind. But loads of celebrities have come out and said they should be freed. The Osbournes came out and said they shouldn't.
Thank God the Osbournes got involved. Bloody hell, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
but
God Sharon had her opinion, who I cherish.
Ozzy's still trying to give his opinion, but he hasn't quite mustered up the strength to get his words out.
On a ball! What?
it's like a
They should
series
paint it
of,
black. Yeah, thank you, Ozzy.
it's like a series. That's the Rolling Stones.
He did one called Paint Black, didn't he?
That's the Rolling Stones.
I'm going to do Crazy Train again. Cut all this out. Go back to the Hellboy thing I said. Go on, so tough.
It's a series of two halves. The first half really paints it into they did it in self-defense kind of view, and then the second half shows
They swap sides.
The second
All
half,
different colours, yeah. Don't like it when they swap shirts at the end. That was a bit weird.
Yeah, why'd they do that?
the second half paints it more as a sociopath kind of view. Like, they do a trial and one of the brothers is crying, and then he gets caught recording to his girlfriend outside the prison saying, "Oh, I think they really bought it. I'm going to win this case. I'm good at crying on cue."
So this Netflix
So,
film is... So the Netflix TV show is too afraid to take a stand in either direction.
Well, I think the majority has shown them being justified in how they did it. So I think that's probably their view on it. But I think they just felt like they needed to show.
Is the
both
series
sides.
like the murder happens pretty much straight away, and then that's when the series goes? So
Yeah, or
episode
is
one
this-
is murder, and you see how they deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So they don't build up to it like at the end or anything like that.
No, but then they kind of do flashbacks where they show
Okay.
you their version of what they're telling.
I've seen
you,
a
so.
scene from it with and Javier Bardem is in.
He's
this,
incredible.
Who I really like as an actor. So maybe I'll give this a watch because of him.
And I have to say the two brothers were fantastic in it as well. And the amount, like, as I say, the horrific things that they have to speak about, they're really, really good in it.
Okay.
But it's definitely not a light-hearted watch. Definitely trigger warnings before you watch that one. But on better news, I've also started reading a new book series.
Okay. How horny is this one?
It's by the same author as ACOTAR,
Okay.
Sarah Mars. But it's called Throne of Glass, and I thought
She
that
loves a throne.
She really does.
it's all fantasy series.
Okay.
This one's about a female assassin.
Fiction, then.
Helgar, the female assassin, hornily sat down on her throne. Oh, bit cold. It was glass.
No, so
The person under it was pleased.
I've heard that this series is less horny than ACOTAR.
Is that on the cover? Less horny than Avatar.
Less sexy than Avatar.
3 dildos out of 5.
But it's got a much better plot line.
What's the point?
I've started it to see whether I like it better or worse than Akatar. So far, the plot is about this female assassin who gets brought out of prison to compete as the king's champion against other
And she kills
champions.
people with sex.
It's a bit like the Hunger Games for
She uses
assassins.
sex as a weapon.
So far.
Horny sex weapon.
You okay, Ben?
No.
Pent up.
Digging my nails into this armchair.
Do you need us to call someone? Do you need us to call your mum? And that's it. So on with the film review.
On with the film review.
On with the film review.
God, out of this train wreck.
This week we're reviewing Netflix's Don't Move. This film was in the top 5 viewed films this week at time of recording. The synopsis is: a seasoned killer injects a grieving woman with a paralytic agent. She must run, fight and hide before her body shuts down. It starred Kirsty Asbill as Iris and Finn Wittrock as Richard. It was directed by Brian Netto and Adam Schindler and produced by Sam Raimi, who I think we all know does pretty horrible films. As in
Also,
horrific.
and also Hammer Films, one of the production companies, who's a very old horror film company from the UK. Did like Dracula and all the Christopher Lee stuff. Yeah, they actually, nice to see that making a, well,
Making a
Comeback? Maybe a stretch.
Okay, let's save that for the review. When I was trying to look up facts for this film, because it's such a newly released film, it was really hard to find anything. So prior to recording, Ben told us all that the film was filmed in Bulgaria. And literally the only fact I could find about it on IMDb was this. European-style license plates can be made out on passing vehicles when Richard and Iris leave the gas station, despite the film taking place in California.
yeah.
So that's all we can tell you about the
Yeah.
film. So from here on out, you're just going to listen to what we thought of it. We are, as usual, because it's a new film, we're going to talk about it spoiler-free. And then we will let you know when we go into spoiler territory. So, Harry, tell us, what did you think?
So I'm fed up of being painted as a negative Nancy who hates women.
That's fair.
So
And you're only one of those things.
I'll take down the mural.
I will start off with what I liked about the film. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah. And on to the negatives. No, so what I liked about the film is I really liked, what was it, Finn? Was that his name?
Finn Wittrock.
I thought he was very good
He's-
as a villain.
fantastic.
Yeah, I'll
He's
second that.
Creepy AF. He was creepy in Ratched, and I think he follows on with that. Do you feel like he could get typecast? Because he does always seem to have that creepy role.
He's definitely typecast, isn't he? But so good.
But he's so good. I thought he was the standout. I also didn't mind Iris. Yeah, I thought she was pretty good. Admittedly, half of the film, for most of the film, she can't move. So take that as you will. If that is good acting, reminds me of my sex life.
I cannot comment.
I can.
Ben's mum is listening.
No! No, we've got to keep that in for the callback.
I've stitched you right up.
Oh!
Anyway, so I thought it was acted very well. I did. Also, I have to say, especially the opening 10 minutes, shot beautifully, right? You can tell it got Raimi on board to get that Raimi money.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah.
The Raimi money.
that Raimi money.
Hell of a show off with the first camera move.
just-
Massively showing off.
Yes, it looks stunning. We was watching it on the TV and I was like, shitting hell. Like, if you was watching that in 4K,
Which they were.
which I was. Premise is decent, I think.
It's not a bad it's not a bad concept.
Yeah, I just don't think it was executed as well as it could have been. And without going into spoiler territory, I will leave it there.
I would say I don't know if you agree with it. I think up to the point when they get back to the car after the first sort of scene, when they get back to the car, that first bit is very good. I really liked that. And also Iris doesn't talk until a good 10, 15 minutes into the film, which I've got now. It's like, oh, you show, don't tell, which is good. Like, it's all very much visual.
Speaking through her body language.
Yeah, it's all visual and it's very good like that.
But she's not in a good way, is she?
No, she's not. No.
And we could probably go into this because it's like the first thing that happens.
It's 10 minutes in.
Yes, like she's suicidal, isn't she?
Yeah.
Over the loss of her son.
Yes.
She's not in a good place.
Yeah.
and that's where the story kind of starts, isn't it? When you see her
at the lowest ebb.
Yeah, and she's kind of
very, very low ebb,
making a choice.
Yeah.
And she gets injected quite early on in the film as well. That's not a spoiler, that's in the synopsis and in the trailer.
Yeah, that's not...
And in the title of the film.
Well, it doesn't say, don't move, help, I've been injected by a paralytic agent.
Yes, it does, have you not read it?
Yeah. The poster's really long. The person who kind of carries this film is Finn, because I think he's the one who does like the most in it, as the person who is pursuing her and as the serial killer. Like we said already, I think he does very well in carrying this film and sort of switching between this sort of very kind of...
He's very charming when he wants to be.
Yeah, very charming. And also sort of kind of cares about her in his own way.
Well, he clearly has his own issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
He's very good at like, oh no, this wasn't in the script.
Yeah.
How am I going to get out of this?
Although
Most of
when
the
it-
time that does involve petrol.
Yeah.
It may or may not involve petrol.
Petrol does involve a lot in this. Way more than you think it would.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you really liked about it, Ben?
No, I think we've kind of covered everything. I mean, from my end.
Well, I just thought it'd be nice to start with the positives, right?
Yeah, let's go with the positives.
I also thought that it was really tense, but this is from someone who doesn't watch a lot of horror films, so...
Which class is as a horror?
Well,
I would say this is
maybe
a
a
thriller.
thriller, but like I would say this isn't my normal...
No, this isn't your average viewing experience.
favourite genre. So I thought it was really tense. I loved the premise of the film. I thought it was brilliant. And I think maybe because Sam Raimi produced it, some of the shots in this are really quite horrific.
Like what, sorry?
Like some of the violence in it is quite horrific.
Ah, okay.
Without going into too much spoilers.
Yeah, I'll put my film cap on for a second, and I think that...
And your scarf.
And my scarf's always on. Unfortunately, I'm not wearing anything else.
And it's a short scarf.
Oh, no. It doesn't need to hide anything there, that's the problem.
The eunuch.
It's got that on the scarf. I think... on your scarf, I'm a eunuch.
Well, that's going straight to the merch.
To put my film cap on for a second, I think, yes, it was produced by Sam Raimi, but I also think because he was the most famous producer on it, they led with his name.
Slapped his name on the poster.
Yeah, because I think there's about 4 or 5 other producers that I saw in the closing credits.
Oh,
so
really?
there is Sam Raimi isms in this, Girl in the Woods, Hunted by Something. But
Some of the camera shots as well, I found.
yeah, I kind of want to see a few more of them, if I was honest. I wanted to see like some of those old classic. I know obviously like he's done other things, but I did want to see a bit of like the old Evil Dead camera in the forest moving through it quickly. Again, that's a very small nitpick on something that he's got a style, and I quite like Sam Raimi's style of doing things.
So, what didn't you like?
What
Keep it brief.
May I start with one bit and then I'll cue in. Stace, can you do me a favour? Can you read the plot again, please?
A seasoned killer injects a grieving woman with a paralytic agent. She must run, fight, and hide before her body shuts down.
Well, she doesn't do any of that in this, does she?
She does.
Right, over to you, Harry.
So they're talking about the opening 20 minutes before she gets...
Zapped by an umbrella.
Yeah.
Very,
Very hardcore Mary Poppins twist.
I'll tell you what, with that
Behave, kids!
spoonful of
They fucking behave.
She does. She fights him to get away. She runs, and then she hides in the little nook when she's got ants.
and then
in her face.
collapses for the rest of the film.
Well, yeah, because she's been injected with a paralytic agent.
It's just
He passed like a right prick. He must have a BMW.
Oh my god!
he's got a Subaru Outback actually.
I would pay money to see what you would have done in that situation.
Do you think you could have parked any fucking closer?
Oh, I'm going back up there and doing it all over again.
You would just open the car door and
He would never have got there.
Sir?
Also, that would never have happened to me because I'm literally like the Slender Man,
Yeah.
so I would have just been able to fall.
Well, just go through the crack of the door.
Yeah, I would have just been able to get through like the little slit in the window I got through. Like something.
See you later.
Yeah, like something out of
Fantastic Four.
like Terminator 2. I would have just been like, ooh.
So I didn't particularly like this movie, to be honest with you. There's a lot of nitpicks that I'd have with it. She's a div.
Okay,
top
great.
of the billing. She has a few opportunities to get the upper hand, and I appreciate it's not her, it's the writing, but they wrote her like an idiot, and we'll get more into that in the spoilers, obviously. But I felt it was a very long 90 minutes. I don't know why it felt so long. And I don't know why. I feel like I should like this film. I've liked these sort of films in the past. And there were moments that were enjoyable, but it was just saying it just didn't click with me. I don't know why. I don't know if it was just because it just felt so by the numbers. You could see everything that was going to come, I think. That was a problem for me.
It is very predictable.
Generic. It was a generic film.
Yeah.
I really like the genericness, but maybe because I don't like, this isn't my chosen genre of choice, but I like the fact it was kind of a switch your brain off type.
This film is a woman gets drugged by someone and then she can't move. And then the film is literally her going from a location to another location to another location, and everything else happens around her. I understand she is drugged up and she can't move.
Just like an Uber Eats driver.
Much like an Uber Eats driver. Shout out to Uber Eats.
Our proud sponsors of Nerds.
You're the real heroes.
But what would you expect?
I expect...
When I saw Sam Raimi's name come up, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be good. Because for him to put his name onto this project, it must have something going for it. So now it led me to believe that they've got something on Sam Raimi. What has he done? And what do they know? There's something on his laptop.
Can I just say that neither of you, you had a lot of gripes about Woman of the Hour, so I just don't think that you like popular films.
Just because something is most watched in a country doesn't mean it's popular. Just means it's the only thing out at the time.
Okay, so not going into spoilers, obviously the drug lasts X amount of time, and as the film goes on, she does start to get some functions back.
Yeah.
Right? Let's not talk about what she does, but let's just say when she has opportunities, she squanders them, doesn't she? She has poor choices. All of her choices are poor. The fact that she's on a fucking mountain going to be like, I'm going to kill myself, and I haven't even told my husband where I'm at. That was stupid.
Yeah. If you swap this whole film round, and I thought about this about 3/4 of the way through, if you swap this film round to the other perspective, it's a story about a serial killer who has the worst Monday ever.
I said that as we were watching it. He's had a really bad day.
Just a serial killer who has had the worst start to the week you could possibly imagine for what he likes to do.
Yeah.
We've all got hobbies.
He's really underperformed.
Oh my God, he really drops the ball. But he also makes silly decisions. Really stupid decisions.
A lot worse than her.
Without, again, trying not to go into too much spoilers, but I think along the same lines that you were trying to sort of say, I think my only gripe with this is that some elements don't quite follow through properly. So the drug wearing off being one of them. That's all I can say.
The drug seems to wear off when it needs to for the plot to happen, and it seems and it seems to come back exactly when the plot needs it to come back in.
Yeah,
and they kind of try and explain it away, but it's like that doesn't make sense as like jumps of logic.
Yeah,
there are just characters in this that make really weird, stupid decisions. It's not a spoiler about when she gets kidnapped by Finn Whitlock, Richard, as he calls himself. I like that he also changed his name every time. I think that's quite fun. She has a pocket knife in her pocket. Weirdly enough, that's apparently where it's meant to go. I wouldn't know. He grabs her phone, doesn't check her other pockets for a knife. Like, he doesn't check her.
He says that.
But again, I think they say that because they're like, oh shit, we actually need to, she had a knife in that bit. How do we get the knife away? Like, as someone who is seasoned as he is, apparently as a serial killer, his character would have checked every pocket. He would have taken away everything from her. I'm also surprised he let her keep the watch.
There is also another moment that didn't quite come together where he lets her keep the watch because she has no phone signal, and yet he uses his phone with no problems in the same area.
Yeah.
The knife bit, to go back to the knife bit. So she uses the knife to get out of her predicament, and she immediately obviously goes for the kill. And fails, obviously, because it's quite early on in the film. And now they have a tussle. Car smashes. They both go out, both bit out of breath. She gets her feet free. Now, she has the upper hand, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She has a knife, right? He has nothing.
You hated this bit.
It really wound me up. So she's got him at knife point. Admittedly, a small knife.
Yeah.
But still a knife.
You could do a bit of damage.
Yeah.
That's not a knife, that's a spoon.
All right, you win.
Timely reference. So he's then explaining, being like, like a James Bond villain. Yeah. I've injected you, and in T-minus 20 minutes, blah, blah, blah. All I'm thinking is, right, so this woman knows in 20 minutes she's going to be as useless as a fucking statue. go for him now.
Yeah.
Whilst you have all like your
All your
feelings,
limbs.
all your limbs, just go for him. Worst case scenario, you're in the same situation.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Because he clearly he wants to do something with her. He doesn't just want to kill her. Otherwise, he would have just killed her. Right? But she just drops the knife. And at first I was like, oh, maybe she's getting a spasm and she's lost the ability.
Yeah.
But she runs off and then she does her little safe space.
Taps her
fingers.
Taps her fingers.
So she clearly has use of her hands afterwards. So she's not dropped the knife out of locking up. She's just dropped the knife because she's a div, as I said in my previous comment.
We actually had to pause the film, I think, at this point because Harry was flying off the handle about this moment. And I was trying to explain. I actually think that that's probably how I would have reacted in that because
But you're in fight or flight.
Because
and you've got the knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the knife is small and
It's not the size of the knife, Stacey.
It's
It's
how
what
you
you
use
do with it.
So, actually, some women actually, if you did, show
They
them
prefer
that-
small knives.
Yeah, someone would actually say that's too big. Actually, some of them would say
You can
that's
get
too
right into
big.
the crevices.
Yeah, some people would say that's too big of a knife. Actually,
But on this occasion,
not me though. I wouldn't.
I don't think
Massive knives.
Huge.
I don't think it's big enough.
Yeah, all right.
Like
Jesus.
she wouldn't be able to inflict damage before he could probably grab it off her.
Yeah, but go for the jugular at least.
Yeah.
But
Like, bang.
that he would have grabbed it.
Yeah.
Like if that were me trying to do it, I'd probably
He's just had a
miss.
head injury. He's clearly not all right. He's kind of like swaying a bit at this point. He's concussed. She also did quite well against him, Russell Crowe style, fist to fist. She's bound up by the feet.
Yeah, I don't know. Plus, also my my playing through on the quarry shows you that if anything, I always tried to run away.
You'd have slipped on the rock. What did you say? Whee!
Richard, your name was. Stacey somehow choked on the red boat she took with that.
Sorry, I got angry about the knife.
I would say as well in terms of the fight in the car. That is with a bladed weapon. Unfortunately, that is the.
It's no Deadpool Wolverine.
No, I thought that is no Deadpool Wolverine. I've seen two fights in a car. That too.
Emotions running high. Could have been a fart.
I've seen two car fights this year, and unfortunately, this is not the one that tops it.
What's the other one?
Deadpool v Wolverine.
The film I literally just mentioned.
I said
the other one.
I don't get listened to this. Am I coming through? This is like something out of The Conjuring, where like the viewers, the listeners hear your two voices, then mine just come to it like.
That's just what happens when you speak.
But what was the other one? Fucking hell.
Okay. So on that note, before we get into spoilers, I need to know whether you're going to Nan approve this, Harold.
My nan's glad she's dead, mate. She's never watching this.
Okay. I will Nan approve it because I did really enjoy it. It was a turn your brain off type film. I was gripped. I'm sorry. And I really like the concept. So the decision is yours, Ben.
It's not approved. Sorry. It's just not.
We're not approving.
No.
Not a majority rules.
No, sorry. But it's available on Netflix. So if you've got Netflix, go and watch it.
And
if you want to.
Email us at nerdsagainstnormalitypod@outlook.com if you disagree.
I won't read it. Can you ask if I come through? If we don't get an email about it, I know that now I don't come through on the recording.
What is that poltergeist on your podcast?
You've got someone who sings Ring a Ring Around the Roses like ages.
If you listen to the podcast, Ben, you'd know.
I do listen to the podcast.
So let's get into spoilers. So we can now say that she meets an old man who sort of rescues her, sort of doesn't.
After going down the rapids, which were barely an inconvenience.
Super easy.
Literally just... They does the shot of the rocks and I was like, oh, okay, tense, because you're going to get a bit smashed up. No.
Just gets washed up.
Literally, it was like Moana. Like the wave just picked her up and put her in the middle of the field and then like tucked her hair behind her ear and then went back into the water.
Also,
Day.
I would like to rewatch that back because as she floated down the rapids, Harry was like, well, that's clearly a dummy. And I looked up and it's just her starfishing down the rapids.
They literally were like, oh, just chuck it in there, off it goes.
Yeah, we've got money for one of these and that's it.
It got destroyed in the rapids, hence why they didn't film it.
So she meets the old guy who kind of tries to hide her in
My
dark.
favourite
What's his
character.
Great character.
Yeah.
Old Man Wick.
Great character. Has the most sinister introduction because of, oh my god, a lawnmower. It just comes out. I was like, wow, thank God she's.
And then they zoom out.
I laughed out. I genuinely laughed when this lawnmower comes into view, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" It's like if that was how she went, this Dan approved.
He'd have to be blind. To get right.
It's so small.
It's a garden. It's not like a massive
It
field.
would have bumped her head as well before it ever got to the blades.
Just her going blink, 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 blink.
It's not a Roomba.
He was sick though. I really enjoyed him. Old man Wick. You know,
He did for the most part. Yeah.
Considering he was in it for a small amount of time, I really liked his backstory, and I really felt tense when Richard, or Andy, I think he's called himself at that point, turns up at the door, and it's like, oh God.
I've lost my wife.
And there's a really scary shot, isn't there, when the old guy is talking and you see him in the background, he just kind of appears.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was good.
That was very good. I liked that.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything with it, but
The tense bit as well was when he set fire to the house.
Yeah.
And she's there. And for what? Oh, she pulls the curtain and he sees that.
again, this is all very. It's all.
Yeah, but he didn't pick up on the tapping, did he?
Oh, was it the curtain?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the,
she grabbed
shut. It was.
Was
The
you even watching the film? Considering you liked it.
you were trying to restrain Harry at the time.
Yeah, I love the fact that, you know, he goes for him and he just fucking shunts him into the bookcase and he's like, oh, I'm scared of you, boy. And then when Andrew's like, and he's like, oh, your wife would be so disappointed she'd have another heart attack. And I was like, oh,
He's going Super Saiyan.
Oh, then he stabs him through the ankle. That was savage.
That was
Yeah.
brutal. Yeah,
Dick
his death
move.
is quite gory, isn't it?
That was an audible gasp from myself.
Oh yeah.
That was a, ooh. Yeah.
What is it with Sam Raimi and like people getting stabbed in cabins?
Yeah.
He loves it.
He loves it.
Absolutely loves
That's
it.
what they've got on his laptop there.
Yeah.
This is a true story.
It's horrible.
It's based on Sam
It's a
Raimi.
documentary. I also floated down the rapids with a dummy.
So then the Richard, or Andy, however you want to call him, takes her to the petrol station because he's got to fill up on gas.
Sorry, gas station if you're in the US.
Gas station.
That's what we call that, a petrol place.
And
The petrol bazaar, we call it.
she starts to get some of her motion back sat in the car whilst he's filling up, and she kind of has an interaction with the family.
But what's her plan there? What's her plan?
She's really uncomfortable. Take seatbelt off.
What is
Be comfortable.
Generally, it does this whole bit where it's all focusing on her fingers, trying to get the seatbelt off. I'm like, brilliant. You
what?
can't do anything else. You can't lift your arms.
You'd save it, right? You'd be like, right, I'm clearly getting some feeling back. Let's not waste it now, because if I do this, if I unclip it, you said it, if she unclips it, it shows him that she's getting back movement.
Yeah.
I said this in my notes, she's the only woman who's never been able to fake it.
I don't know. I've been dating.
And that was a stupid bit. And they did that bit so that they call the police. Don't they? That is the people who call the police.
Yes, but it would have been
scene.
nice to have seen that part of it.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah. If I didn't know, I didn't have to rewind it. I was like, because he says it quite quickly. The police officer's like, well, it's like, who called you? How do you know?
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was a scene and it got cut. Maybe.
Yeah, there could have been. But she has the whole through the window with the small kid from The Shining, and just does. But what's that for? They do a flashback to her with her son who died. It's like, but what's the link here? What are you trying to tell me about this character? What, you miss your son? I know you miss your son.
I think she realised that she wanted to live by the end of the film.
Yes, she did, and I understand.
What a good arc.
That's the character arc of her. But
They need to look at that ledge. How many people are going there to kill themselves, right? So in the later part of the film, it's established that he has time away. So he goes to the cabin right away from family, and that's when he does his little killing. And time to do me some killing. So yeah, he does the killing. So he obviously goes to that place to get people who are vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's say he books that cabin out once every 3 months, and nobody kills themselves. What does he do then? Well, it's a fucking wasted trip, wasn't it?
he got a Nintendo Switch.
You just played Mario Kart.
I bet his Animal
I
Crossing.
don't think it's like that. I think he finds hikers and stuff.
I bet his.
You reckon?
I don't know. I bet his island on Animal Crossing looks incredible.
hasn't seen mine. So when they're in the car, his wife call him, I think, and you get a little bit more of his back.
That's good. But that's also a testament to Finn Whitrock, who is a very good actor, because I believed it.
It ramped up the end of the film, didn't it? Because he's now got a finite amount of time where he now has to kill her because his family are coming up.
Yeah.
Notes. At what point do you just cut your losses and kill a bitch?
Oh, that's on
How many
mine.
opportunities does he have to kill her? Just fucking kill her.
I put on my notes.
What's she going to do? Fight back?
Is that?
Do you know what I mean? Roll her down a hill, toss her out like garbage. I don't care what you do. Throw her like a frisbee. It doesn't matter.
Did you see?
Jesus Christ.
Harry, did you see? Harry, did you see the ravines that she went through? All right, she is hard as fuck.
She just bounced off of everything.
I'm going to quote that on your t-shirt is, what do you got to do to kill a bitch?
I put on my...
Just kill her.
I love that this is the mindset. On my notes, I put, as soon as that police officer turned up, I would have been like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm giving up. This is too much trouble. I would have been like, I'm so sorry. I have drugged this woman. I was going to kill her. I'm having a really stressful day. I've only got a third party on this car.
How did he explain that to the wife as well? Oh, by the way, the car's fucking 15 miles down the road. Ignore all the fucking petrol I poured on everything.
He pulled into a petrol station to get petrol for that truck. If only he had some sort of petrol that he was carrying around with him, like in an earlier scene. Maybe something he used to, I don't know, burn down a cabin and put in the back of the truck.
He used all that petrol.
That's burning petrol.
No, he didn't. Because that's my burning petrol.
That's not driving petrol. He's got it labelled.
Why did you use that? No, look.
No.
That's your burning petrol.
That's my sniffing petrol.
No.
This is my love making petrol.
That was petrol. He uses diesel.
I really did. Oh, was it diesel?
No, I said that.
That's it. I believe that. If they had shown that, I'd have been like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So, also, cable ties, a sedative, and wet wipes. Sounds like the perfect weekend to me.
Damn right.
Oh God, I'm moving on. So
That's a positive for the film. That's a positive.
Then they're driving and they get pulled over by the police or the sheriff.
Yeah, it's a small town, isn't it?
Who's got called from their visit to the gas station, and then he gets a brutal ending as well. Quite horrific, I thought.
Yeah, what gets him?
He does.
Oh, he's petrol. Gets everything.
This is my cop killing petrol. Everyone laughs at me when I bought this one. I knew I'd need it.
He's got cocaine that he plants on people. Nice. He gets him with the toe. The toe bit.
Yeah, when he pulls back the shirt and it's got the cable ties and the wet wipes and the sedative.
And it goes straight through his cheek. Like, I think you see his cheekbone as he clobbered him.
Yeah, that was good death. That was good.
Yeah.
Time for that.
But again, it's all very... Everything happens around her.
But yeah, because she's fucking
I know.
paralysed.
I know, and this is...
But she uses it wrong, right? So and I know they tried to explain it in the film, when she gets that sudden burst of energy and she's like, Kiyo! And stabs him in the leg with the sedative.
Oh, yeah.
I really wish that had worked, because that would have been interesting.
She had the strength to pick up the sedative, hide it.
Quickly as well.
Yeah, because it was all going off.
Yeah.
And then she hides it, and when he's driving, she's like, "Ugh!" Stab, and then she doesn't have the strength
That was on my notes
to
as
push
well.
her thumb down. And they try to fucking palm it off as your body's going to have random moments of like energy. Nah, not buying it. Not buying it. Didn't have the strength to press down.
Yeah.
Me as a gamer,
Press
I'd be
B.
all over that.
Right. It'd be like crawling away from the whole wreckage, just none of your body moves, but it's just your thumb.
My thumb
Just
crawling me out of the way.
crawling me out of the way. It's like, I can't catch him, he's too fast. And he's paddling somehow.
His thumbs are just so hench.
Richard tries to get on top of you, you just fight him off with your thumb, just immobilise, like, ooh.
And then finally, towards the end of the film, they go to he takes her out on a boat on a lake, and she manages to stab him or shoot him.
She stabs him with a fish knife at the start, and then she shoots him when he falls over the edge.
Yeah.
He has it in his back pocket.
Yeah.
What do we think about the ending of the film?
He's indestructible, isn't he? He gets stabbed through the neck,
Bam, bam, bam,
falls
bam, bam.
over, gets back up. She then shoots him once in the leg, shoots him, is it in the chest?
Chest and the hip or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah.
Also with the stab wound, falls off. Then he's swimming off. And then, then ends up, you think, oh, that's a nice ending. And then he then goes ashore. He's like, it's like Austin Powers. Like, why won't you die? Yeah, he's just indestructible.
I just don't care. I don't care about his motivation. I don't care about his and I saw my girlfriend die. It was like I was aware. I don't care. But I think I know why he targets her specifically. I have a theory.
Okay.
He says he was a car guy. She drives a Prius, which automatically gets her points demoted in my book. So I'm thinking there was a girl who went past him the first time with a beautiful BMW E30 from 1996. And I think it's like, no, I can't.
Not today.
She's got Clark. Prius?
Also, her husband or boyfriend or escort or whoever was standing there
Lodger.
just did not call her at any point.
No.
It's Ben Sheridan.
I messaged Ben 4 times, but he hasn't even messaged back.
You get one phone call, and if they pick up, you get to live, and I'll let you walk away. I'm going to call this guy Ben.
Points gun in mouth. I'll do it myself.
Can I message him on PlayStation? They did do a full circle shot where it showed her on her back in the boat looking at the sky, and they did a similar shot at the start of the film, so it was a full circle.
Yeah, symbology,
Pleasing.
metaphor. Just there's-
Wanky bollocks.
Fact.
For a seasoned veteran, a seasoned killer as well, he doesn't think everything through.
No.
So when he kills that cop, right, and sets him on fire, obviously, when they send the next policeman to go down and be like, oh, he hasn't checked in a while, and they go, oh, he's dead. And there's that car. And he went to check on a red truck from that garage. What I'm going to do is going to go to that garage and I'll check the CCTV where he is in plain sight.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's had a really bad day.
Oh, that probably let him off then.
What are your really positive points about this film? Like, because you say it's a turn your brain off film, but there's turn your brain off as in like you're
Dumb fun.
Dumb fun, but then like, Air Force One CR review. But then there's turn your brain off like this, where it's just like, this is just a bit boring and nothing is like, it's not doing anything.
I didn't find it boring. I thought it was, I was really gripped. I thought it built the tension really well. And for me, it was just that right mixture of not too scary, but still kind of exciting enough. Because you're like hardcore into scariness.
Yeah.
But I also thought the acting was just superb from everybody, obviously particularly Finn Whitrock, but I thought that Kirsty Asbill was really great in it as well. I thought it looked very pretty, and I thought, believe it or not, I did think it had some symbolism in it. Like the old man being maybe a reflection of the serial killer guy, but obviously not to that extreme. But he talks about his story where he was an angry drunk and he was horrible to his wife, and the fact that she learns to want to live throughout the film. I think that's why she says thank you to him at the end.
Yeah, it is, because she's like, oh, you've awakened me.
Yeah.
But
Don't get me wrong, I think there were some things that could have been done better.
yeah, therapy.
I just thought it was a really great concept. Any final thoughts?
It was such a beige film. It was just by the numbers, boring. Watch it if you've got stuff to do and you want something from the background, fair enough. But it's definitely, there's so many great films out there. If you want to spend an hour and a half, watch Dragon Ball Z.
I think if you want to watch something about, violence in the woods or Final Girl in the Woods, there are better films to do it. If you want one from this year, which I quite liked, was In a Violent Nature, which also came out this year and also features a killer in the woods, and I think that was done very well. What about you? Any final thoughts?
No, I really liked it. I think it's worth a watch. I think it's if you can't be bothered to keep scrolling through Netflix trying to find something, I think just whack it on.
Yeah.
Okay, so just before I take us out, I'm going to let you all know we're actually moving our podcast's release date to being from Thursday to Wednesday. So our next episode will be available on Wednesdays. I also just want a quick note to say thank you to everybody who's been listening to us. We are a small new podcast, so we really appreciate all your support. And if you could recommend us to anyone that you think is as nerdy as you are, that would be amazing.
But it's very important. No, we really appreciate anyone who listens. We do appreciate it. And even if you just tell one person and they listen to it, that's awesome, because that's how we grow.
Yeah.
At the moment, we're just doing it as a bit of a laugh. It's good fun. We would like to continue doing it. Obviously, if you guys like it, it would just mean the world if you could just share it.
Yeah, please do, guys. It makes my heart very happy when we sort of see how many people we've had listen from all over the world, and some people are listening to us rant for an hour about random stuff. But yeah, any little likes or shares or recommendations are always very much appreciated. Thank you, guys.
And we need to beat BBC Garden as well.
Yeah, we're fucking taking them down.
So on that note, we've been Nerds Against Normality. Please follow, rate, like us on social media for more exclusive content. And if you have a question, something you want us to review, or a great story from your week, please email us at nerdsagainstnormalitypod@outlook.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Until next week. Still rolling again. Right, it's another week. I've actually lost count how many this is, but we've been going for some time now for random Ben facts. He still hasn't confronted us about these, so they're either really true and he's too embarrassed to confront them, or he's still not listening to the podcast. Right, this week, did you know that Ben actually shaves his stepdad's back just so he can get all the hair, stick it to his face, just so it looks like he has a real beard? Stay tuned for more facts next week.